He dragged me through the wardrobe and into the mirror dimension. He must have known what he was doing because he didn't struggle or hesitate like I did. But why would he bring me here? What does this place mean to him? Why is he so drawn to it? And more importantly, how can I escape? My name is Alex. I work at an antique store in the city. It's not a bad job. I like working there. There's this one guy who comes in every now and then, always looking for something unique, something special. I'd never seen him before in my life until one day when I saw him dragging this huge wardrobe out of the store. I couldn't help but ask what was up with that. He just smiled and said it was nothing. Nothing, huh? Yeah, okay. I should have listened to myself, but I guess I got curious, so I asked if I could take a look. That's when he lost his smile. His face twisted into this horrible, contorted version of itself. He screamed at me to get away from him and the wardrobe. Guess that question was a bit too personal. I felt terrible. I wanted to apologize, but he was gone, vanished into thin air. I felt awful. And then I saw it. The next time I clocked into work, I saw him again. And then suddenly, I remembered why I felt so drawn to him. His eyes. They were the same eyes that had stared back at me from the antique mirror I'd found in the back of the store years ago. Those eyes were his, and I knew I had to tell him. When I finally got the chance, I did. I told him about the mirror. At first he looked confused, but then his face lit up. He grabbed my hand and practically dragged me to the counter where the mirror was displayed. It was no longer there. He explained that the mirror had been taken from its rightful place, that it was an interdimensional portal, and that he was the guardian of the wardrobe. Guardian of the wardrobe. I thought he was joking until I saw the crazed look in his eye. He wasn't joking. He meant every word. He invited me to see his home. How could I refuse? I wanted to, but I couldn't. He led me to the back of the store, opened the wardrobe, and disappeared inside. Curiosity killed the cat, but it was also my kryptonite, and I had to know what was on the other side of that wardrobe. Before I knew it, I was in another dimension. I don't know how long I stood there for, but I remember thinking how beautiful it was. Then I heard his voice. He was calling my name. At first, I thought it was kind of sweet, but then I realized something. He hadn't asked if he could come find me. He demanded it. He dragged me through the wardrobe and into the mirror dimension. He must have known what he was doing because he didn't struggle or hesitate like I did. But why would he bring me here? What does this place mean to him? Why is he so drawn to it? And more importantly, how can I escape? Well, he wanted me to see his home. Now, I must admit it was beautiful. Lush green grass stretched as far as I could see, and there wasn't a cloud in the sky. The sun shone brightly overhead, promising a warm, comforting glow. There was a small cottage in the distance. Smoke curled from its chimney, teasing the scent of wood smoke and baking bread. As we walked, he told me about this world, about how he kept it hidden from everyone, about how he was the only one who knew about it. But I could tell he was hiding something. I could feel it in my bones. As we approached the house, his demeanor shifted. He went from relaxed and open to tense and closed off. He was like a coiled spring ready to snap. When he finally spoke, his voice was low and dangerous. He told me about the others, the ones who had come before me. He said they were all special, that they'd brought him great joy. Joy? What did he mean by that? I tried to ask, but he cut me off, his eyes flashing with anger. He didn't want to talk about them anymore. He wanted to show me something else. He led me into the house, and that's when I saw them. The walls were lined with mirrors, each one reflecting a distorted version of myself. I felt sick to my stomach. Then I saw them. The faces in the mirrors weren't mine. They were the faces of the people who had come to this dimension with him. Their eyes were blank, soulless. They stared back at me accusingly. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. My voice was trapped in my throat. He was watching me, his eyes gleaming with amusement. He was enjoying my fear. Oh God. I wanted to run, to hide. But my legs felt like they were filled with lead. I was trapped in his game, and I knew there was no escaping it. I don't know how long I stood there, frozen in fear. But eventually he broke the silence. He told me it was time for me to make my choice. What choice? He wanted me to stay with him here, to become one of the faces in the mirror, to become like them. I wanted to say no, but the word caught in my throat. I was trapped in a nightmare, and there was no waking up.